Hey there. I guess this is a video blog post. Is that a thing? I don't know. I've seen some people do that recently, and it kind of inspired me. So, if you're a regular reader here or whatever, or you're stumbling on this, you may have read some of my posts about my adventures in vibe coding. And I think one of the interesting things that I've been learning, and that I've also been seeing other people who've been vibe coding, that they've also been learning as we go through this idea of vibe coding little apps and things, is just that I'm very confident that there's a near future where end users are going to essentially be able to make features. Kind of, they'll probably like be able to do it without really realizing that's what they're doing, but they'll be able to ask an agent on their device or on their computer. Just like make me this, I would like to see this result, make it happen for me, right? And then in the background the agent is actually vibe coding something. I've thought that it would be interesting to rewatch the movie Her, with the sort of concept of like, oh, how many things that Joaquin Phoenix is asking are actually being sort of vibe coded by the operating system. But I haven't done that yet. Anyways, I have been working on this little plugin idea called WPAI Daemon, which is kind of like an early proof of concept of what this idea looks like inside of WordPress. So what it would look like for a end user to be able to add capabilities and features to WordPress. So uh, this is the guts of it is just a chat window, like a chat bot. This is just connecting to Anthropic via the connectors, WordPress AI connector, and you can just kind of do things with it. So let me show you here. Like, let's try this. What is the top story? Spell it correctly on cbc.ca right now. So, though this is interacting with the Anthropic API, and one of the things that you can't do with the API interaction is like you can't really get it to do a web search for you. So I've actually enabled the WPAD to do web fetches via WordPress's internal WP remote methods. So when you ask for something web related, it will do a web search for it. So the top story on CBC right now is Prime Minister Mark Carney's announcement of Canada's Strong Fund, etc., etc. Can we write a blog post summarizing this, please? So again, this is not quite yet the feature capability stuff that I've been talking about, but it's sort of the uh, automate things with WordPress without having to do, offload everything that we're currently offloading to LLMs in the regular chatbot, but inside of WordPress. And other people are working on stuff like this as well, but I think you'll see where this is going in a second here. So there we go. We have researched it and we wrote about it. And it's just sitting here as a draft, which we can publish. And there we have it. Let me guess, like for sanity's sake, like let's check cbc.ca. And in fact, this is the top story. Cool. So again, that's not quite the movie Her yet, or obviating software as we know it. But how about this? I would like to see the weather, the current weather in Winnipeg, the WP admin toolbar at all times. Please add that for me. So what it's going to do now is it's going to create a plugin that adds a little thing to the WP admin toolbar. Now, is this a plugin that already exists? Maybe. Could anybody write this plugin? Sure. But my sort of point being here is like this idea that I've been having is just that like that type of software um, kind of just doesn't exist anymore. Like, unfortunately, I guess it's kind of don't know what that means for us developers, but I just see this as a matter of fact. Now, this is like a pretty simple thing. It looks like it has a plugin header. It's following all the WordPress conventions because it knows about those, and is looks like it's going to cache for 15 minutes, and it's using this Meteo API. I've never heard of that API. So like you get the picture here, right? Like it's just made a bunch of choices, a bunch of coding choices without me telling it anything at all, just telling it about what the outcome I want is, right? So we'll activate that, and we will now see the current weather up here. Like, I don't know that this is the best source, but that is what it is. We could edit this or whatnot. The interesting thing also is that not only can it write plugins, but it can actually write and execute snippets. And I think that's like actually super powerful, especially for debugging. So let's see what we can find out about what this plugin is doing under the hood. So in this plugin, again, this wouldn't be like, I'm not demonstrating something here that would necessarily be a general end user idea, but I think this is kind of something that would be helpful to devs. In this plugin we just created stores data in a transient. Can you show me what's in that transient right now? And as you'll see, it will uh, generate a snippet, execute it, and display the output to the screen here. Actually not sure that this is the transient data, but it looks like it's oh yeah. Yeah, it's written in SQL query, and it's just outputting that SQL query. Obviously, this is super dangerous. Don't run any of this stuff on your production site. But like, I think the possibilities of just these three capabilities here are super powerful. Like you can, I don't know, what's the value of WP debug? Like maybe we want to know if debug mode is on, right? Um, so it's true. And then reuse source. This is the source, obviously. Like, could we have written that in a debug console really quickly? Sure. Obviously, these are just like really sort of proofs of simple concepts, a proof of concept. So how is this all working? You can take a look at the code on GitHub, Orion, WPAD. And basically what this is it's the combination of an abilities aware uh, agent. So let's just show you what that means. What are the abilities we have access to, right? Now we can ask it there, but I can also show you in the settings what's going on here a little bit under the hood. Basically, we've got the core abilities: get site information, get user info, get environment. And then I have created all of these other abilities to enable these features that you're seeing here. So there we go. So web fetch, it's all the abilities are a class that registers with the abilities API. You can see that all here. But one thing that I am doing on top of that, so this one is registering an ability that um, executes a remote request, a remote get. I've heard that update page and update post are actually coming to core, so these might be obviated. if I continue working on this, but right, we're just creating a post. So we'll actually, I guess, do an upstart. And I'm saying I guess because honestly, like this is a very closely handcrafted vibe coded app. It's another one of my crazy vibe coded apps, right? We can all do this kind of thing with very inexpensive um, LLM subscriptions, and it's kind of crazy. But so the one a little bit of sort of extra special sauce here is that all the abilities have an abilities prompt. It's kind of like a system prompt. That this one is not very, um, excuse me, very substantial. But if you look at like the web fetch system prompt, I've added all of these rules here to try to limit the ability of it to do anything really terrible. But again, you never know if the LM is going to sort of be bound by those rules. This is all of these system prompts are sort of sent uh, as part of the request. We can see that in the logs here. So we've got, let's look at the snippet here. Run snippet. Here's the, which one is it? Here we go. So the snippet call is like adding this entire system prompt text before my actual request, right? Um, so that's sort of a very quick overview of this. I think this is really quite cool. The one thing that, well, sort of two sort of caveats here. Um, because of the way that this stuff is using a system prompt before actually sending anything to an LLM, I don't think that most of these abilities are super good candidates for MCP inclusion, because the MCP won't know about the system prompt, and that makes it a whole lot more dangerous, especially run snippet and create plugin. The other part that I haven't really demonstrated here is the actual reason that I'm calling this a daemon. That's because it's sort of unfinished, but I've been working on this for a bit and I just wanted to get it out there to show some people. But the plugin is shipping with the action scheduler, the package that ships with WooCommerce. And I've created some abilities that add ways for you to interact with the action scheduler via an LLM. So we've got list scheduled action, but obviously schedule action, and then you can cancel the scheduled action. And I think this is where it becomes like a real kind of insane thing where it could almost be like an open claw, except it's your website. Like you could fetch SEO stuff and update posts automatically, or I don't know, send whatever kind of crazy stuff you can think of that you would need to do in the background in sort of a scheduled manner. So that's, yeah, the quick and dirty intro to this plugin. Um, like I said, we're not at the beginning. Like I don't think we're quite there yet in terms of, yeah, you can just we obviously you don't want to just throw this on a customer's website. That's insanity at this point in time. But my point here is sort of to demonstrate what this sort of agentic end user experience might end up looking like in WordPress, where any average user can start adding capabilities to WordPress just by asking the agent that lives within WordPress. Um, that's it. Catch you on the flip side.